Sticking with the Biden administration, according to multiple reports, not yet independently confirmed by Fox News, President Biden might go on a last-minute pardon spree before leaving the White House. Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, Adam Schiff, and Liz Cheney have all been widely reported as speculated individuals who could receive pardons. As of now, there is no evidence any of these individuals have requested pardons or committed crimes. Fox has reached out for comments from the White House, Schiff, Cheney, Milley, and Fauci, but have not yet heard back. Schiff recently told NPR that he is not interested in a blanket pardon from Biden. Here's what the White House had to say about this yesterday.
I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but what I can say is that the president is reviewing other pardons and commutations. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. I'm just not going to get into specifics of what we're going to do, not do. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. There's a process. The president's going to go through it. I'm not going to get ahead of him. He's going to make announcements on pardons and commutations.
Now, at least one Democrat is suggesting for Biden to pardon Trump.
So I think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump, that was political as well, too. A pardon is appropriate. We cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents.
Okay, so, Jason, the Constitution gives the president this power. This is different. What they're talking about, this blanket pardon for unknown crimes.
No, we haven't seen anything quite like this. I think those most likely to potentially be on the list are Biden family members, because if you look at James Biden, the other Bidens, and what James Comer has said about them, he's the chairman of the Oversight Committee, he's done a deep research on this. Those are the people that I think are in jeopardy, because there are literally millions of dollars that have flowed overseas that ended up in the Biden's bank accounts. And when investigators are able to actually go and get away from Merrick Garland and get to a Pam Bondi and a Kash Patel and actually look at those documents, and then congressional investigators can look through those documents, that's where I think there's more vulnerability potentially for Biden family members, at least according to James Comer.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see. But, Conch, you know, the reporting that came out on this from Politico was that it actually wasn't the president who was in these conversations. It was the people around him. And at first, that hit me as so weird. I thought, really? He's not in the conversations? And then I thought, maybe it's not so weird.
That's been the case for about 4 years now, right? Other people have been running this country that we don't even know about. They're faceless people. John Fetterman, God bless that guy. He is the voice of reason now for the Democratic Party. He's the only one that goes forward and says the New York trial of Trump was politicized. You would think some other leaders would come forward and say, you know, that's right, and let's turn the page and move on. No, it's not happening. So John Fetterman, 2028, watch out for that guy, because he actually is making sense when Democrats are running and hiding with these preemptive pardons. I've never heard anything like this before, Nicole.
You know, actually, Joe, I agree. I think that Senator Fetterman, I'm shocked by him this entire year and have been wholly impressed by him, not just in this instance, by a lot of things that he's talking about.
Israel, yeah.
I will certainly say that we can't take the White House at its word about what they're going to do for pardons, because they've already blatantly lied about pardoning Joe Biden's son. But what I'll say is, you know, let him pardon who he's going to pardon. At the end of the day, there's still going to be investigations. Specifically, I'm looking forward into some of the COVID investigations to seeing, you know, what was known, what was kept secret. Maybe they will have blanket pardons, but we still can get information, and it can be made publicly available. The people deserve to know.
Yep, it's going to be a very interesting next 5-6 weeks or so.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.